In this press conference, we'll have the head coach for St. Norbert, Tim Coughlin, as well as Blake Thompson, number 4, Noah Nelson, number 8, and number 23, Eric Cooper. We'll follow the same format where we'll do a Q&A with our student athletes first, and then we'll follow with Coach Coughlin. So let's open it up to you with some questions.
Blake, how would you possibly describe this game tonight?
Not really sure. Kind of emotions at the start. Down 3 or 3-0 with 8 minutes into the game, and then just kind of we knew we could claw back, just goal by goal. Got our power play to step up. We got 2 big ones, kind of get us going again, and then it's been a good second period team, and then I think just the third we kind of took our foot off the gas and didn't press like we should have.
Eric, you got into a hole early, but how big was that goal with 7/10 of a second left in the first? I mean, was that something, a rallying cry in the locker room between periods?
I think that was the turning point for us to spark the second period. It's just the last 2 minutes of any period, the first 2 minutes and the last 2 minutes, just a very demoralizing way to finish a period that they dominated, and then to have that little spark for us was big, and then, takes them back a couple steps and then play a little more defensive, and we were able to really just get started.
Noah, can you just take us through that last sequence and what goes through your head when you see that light finally go on?
When you see the light go on, yeah, you're just glad you get to sit down for a little bit. More than anything. But no, it's just a great pass, and I don't know, we were confident in our locker room. We really thought we were going to get the job done, and it could have been any guys. We had a number of chances that we could have buried that we just didn't, and just really happy that we're moving on, and yeah, it's just glad that's over to the long game. Good fun.
Big game, big players. I mean, Blake and Eric, a couple of All-Americans, Lamar and Tyler Bishop on the other side, same thing. You guys all stepped up tonight, had big goals, big points. What is it about playing in big games like this that gets you guys going?
I think this is what, as a competitor, as a hockey player, this is what you live for. You live for these games. You work all season, all off season to get to this point, and then it's time to come play. You need the guys with the letters, especially to step up in those times, and I think we're well deserving of that title, and we proved it tonight. Blake and I got a lot of personal accolades, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes and that get us to this point, and we showed it tonight.
Other questions for student athletes?
Eric, tell me about the timeout, 2-0 goalie change. What had to be said there, if anything, and then that ultimately, what did lead to that, just to change things around?
Well, before the game started, we were like, first 5 minutes are big. That was the key to the start of the game, and we failed that one pretty miserably. Coach called a timeout, changed the goalie. Not that Tony did anything wrong, but he needed to send the message to the rest of the team to get things on the right track. Giving up that third one was kind of another kick, and then we started rolling. The last 10 minutes, we had the puck more in their zone, and then we were fortunate enough to get one there late to really start things.
Blake, you had goals 3 and 4 for you on the season, and all 4 of those goals have come on the power play. 2 of them were back-to-back tonight. Talk about your effectiveness on the power play and your role on that unit.
I got lucky all year to play with some pretty effective guys in the power play, and we've had success all year on it. Just I'm mostly the high guy trying to get pucks on net, get guys rebounds and tips and stuff like that. Tonight, the first goal, I just kind of wanted to get it on net, just kind of found a way through, and then the second goal just squeaked out, and I knew had to bury that just to get through it going again. So.
Let's get a couple more questions for our student athletes, and then we'll talk to the coach.
Noah, how surprised were you to see nobody in front of you but the goalie in that second overtime? All of a sudden, you just kind of sprung through and literally from the red line in all alone. You know, a lot of time to think about it.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, I think I almost thought too much, because then you're like, you have so much time to think, and, but no, obviously it was a great play from Philly, and we see daylight, and I'm just thinking, just make a play. Just make a play, and, coach has kind of been on me all week to shoot, because I like to pass, so, I just want to come down and get a shot off, and lucky enough, it happened to go in, not because of a shot or anything, but just because it did, and but sometimes when you see daylight, it's a little like, okay, this is a lot of room to think, what I'm going to do, sometimes we should just like in tight, just make a play, but yeah.
All right, one last question for our student athletes. Okay, let's move on to the coach. If we can bring the microphone over. Coach, as a coach, can you take us through the mental anguish, the mental ups, the mental downs? The roller coaster ride that you must have had on that bench tonight. Can you take us through that?
Nope, and I never want to do it again. Well, first of all, preparing for this, to come in to play UMass Boston, lots of people, lots of alumni, lots of, who are UMass Boston? Never heard of them. And all I can say is, I've watched them from a distance for 10 years, and Peter has done an unbelievable job with that group. And to watch them get better and better and better from a distance, because we don't see them in the region, and we don't cross regions much. And then for them to do what they did, I mean, we know the usual suspects. We know who Norwich is, because we've had many contentious opportunities with our friends from Norwich. And we know who Babson is, because they've been at the top of the pile. To think that UMass took both of those teams out in the regular season is a big statement all by itself. And then you say, well, the defending national champion, who, by the way, Trinity, who beat Adrian, something we couldn't do this year, 5-2 last year, and beat Stevens Point, who you saw tonight. They are the real deal. And they go in and take a 4-rep lead at Trinity. It's another big statement. And now they go face the #1 team in the East, in Hobart, and it's a 2-0 shutout. Anybody who doesn't know who UMass Boston is, wake up, because you do now. I mean, that's a heck of a good hockey team. They showed very well for themselves today. They certainly jumped us early in the first period and had that lead. And it is a roller coaster. It's exactly what it is. It's a roller coaster. And we try not to get elevated too high. We try not to be too low. And so at the 2-0 point, the goaltender changed. That's just I wouldn't call it standard operating procedure, but it's something we thought we needed to do with our group to get our attention. And the third goal they scored, it might have been 8. 8 scored that goal?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. That was an unbelievable, he's a left shot. He came in on that backside, he went short side high, off the bar, down. That goal goes in the National Hockey League. I mean, the best goaltenders in the world play in the NHL, and they get beat by good shots, and that was an unbelievable shot. So right there, you're like, geez, maybe we're not going to push back on this. You don't know. You just don't know how it's going to go. I was hoping that the resolve of the group would come through. I think the fact that we got some big goals from unusual suspects, like Philly hasn't had a bunch of goals this year, but he got them all with 7/10 of a second left, which got us into a good spot. Nelly has just made a statement that I've been on this week to shoot. That's not true, Nelly. I've been on Nelly for 9 weeks to shoot. And the truth be told, Matt Webb might be the only one in the room who knows this, through 9 games this year, Noah Nelson was our leading scorer. Through the first 9 games of the year. Took a little lull in the middle, and guess what he was doing when he took a lull? He was over dishing the puck. And so we've been on him for a long time to shoot. He skates like the wind. He's so well conditioned. He's the last guy in the weight room every single day, and he's got a very effective shot. And so for the last week or two, I have been leaning hard on him. Every time he shoots and scores in practice, I've been on him saying, that's what I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm very happy for him that happened tonight, and happy for all of us. That was obviously a big goal. Tyler Andrews scored a big goal for us tonight. Tyler Andrews was a catalyst on the back end, I thought, for us. When we were down and we needed to push there in the second period, freshman defenseman who has really good offensive instincts, but really bad hips. He's all iced up all the time. He's got bad hips. But he was getting up the ice and making plays and pushing the offensive envelope for us. And then we were generating from around that. So, and then we get a couple from Blake, and we know Blake can score, and a couple from Coop, and a couple from here, there, and everywhere. And we kind of chipped in. So we took that thing over in the second period when we pushed back as hard as we did. In St. Norbert College hockey land, then you button it down hard and you really defend well. And again, credit to UMass Boston. Blake made the comment, maybe we didn't have our foot on a pedal, or maybe they really had their foot on the pedal because they pushed really hard again and just kept chipping away at us, just like we chipped away at them. So really just a tale of a lot of different things going on with them being dominant early, us being dominant in the middle, them dominating again on the score sheet down the stretch, and then the missed opportunities on both sides. I saw 3, 4 unbelievable looks that UMass had that didn't end up in the net. Just like we had the same. So I think that evened itself out, that equaled itself out. We both made goaltending changes in the game today. I've never been a part of anything like this from that standpoint. Thankfully, I've been around the game long enough to be a part of a lot of things, and now this one's on the chalkboard.
Let's open up for some questions. Guys?
Not you again.
You mentioned the goaltender change. There was another anomaly in the game today. About halfway through the third period, it looked like the Green Knights were doing what you needed to do, up 7-4 at that time. Just under 10 minutes remaining, and the injury to the linesman, a significant delay, really gave both teams an opportunity to reset, and UMass Boston looked like they took advantage of that.
They did. Yep, they certainly did. And to their credit, they did that. And to our lack of, I guess. One team has to step up and push, and they did. We didn't come out of that with the same kind of D-zone mindset that we had or that we normally have. I mean, going into this game, we led the nation goals against average. And as a rule, if you look historically at St. Norbert College, we are typically in the top 2 or 3 because we try to create our offense through defensive pressure. When the score normally goes 5-4, typically that's not our type of game. If it's 3-2 and 2-1, we enjoy that type of game. To play an 8-7 game at this time of the year blows my mind. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, but they certainly came out of that circumstance with incredible push. And there was how many were seeing eye pucks tonight? And how many seeing eye pucks ended up in the back of the net? I know we had 2 or 3 on them, and they had certainly 2 or 3 coming back at us. Kind of low to high, side to side. Nobody in the shot lane, puck coming right back down, it's in the back of the net. And that happened multiple times on both sides. So, I mean, that is what it is.
Other questions for the coach?
What time's practice tomorrow?
We'll take the option on that one. We talked to Brian Dickinson from the committee and said, yeah, he said, you guys going to practice tomorrow? And I'm like, no. Blake Thompson said, what time's breakfast tomorrow? And I said, I don't know, like, what time do you want to eat tomorrow? So we'll go on their schedule, however that seems best. We'll stick pretty close to the hotel. We traveled around a little bit this last couple of days, enjoyed some of the sights of Lake Placid and some different restaurants around. I think we'll be pretty much hotel bound tomorrow.
Coach, it seems like all along, anytime you've needed a goaltender to step up to you in a big spot, TJ Black has been that guy. I know he stepped up big in the Adrian series. Now you turn to him tonight. What can you say about his level of play, his confidence level as a freshman? What can you say about that?
Well, the part that's going to get lost in the shuffle here is that Tony didn't play poorly. I mean, those pucks were, bar and in, and completely wide open, blown defensive coverage assignment. That was a bang-bang play. Those were the 2 that went in on him. And so, we're not talking about that. We're talking about how TJ stepped up and how that's happened in the past. So we did get beat by Adrian in the first game in the January series, in a 5-4 game, and Tony actually got concussed and got knocked out. And TJ had to step up the next day, and he came in, freshman, go play. What I would say about both of them, and these guys would attest to that, is day to day, week to week, when you watch the goaltenders run through their drills and practice with Kip Karakis, our goalie coach, who does a phenomenal job with the guys. They are both technically very sound. So to see as many goals go through as we did, again, is a surprise. I think we had a 1.39 goals against average as a team. Both the goaltenders are 9.35, 9.37 save. Coming into it, having both played quite a bit. Again, having said that, TJ's a confident kid. Tony's a confident kid. They both have their ability to come in and be impact players. So the biggest question for Coach Karakis is, what the hell are you going to do tomorrow? Because I'm not sure yet. We'll have to go back to that one.
All right, let's give the coach 2 more questions and have him and his student athletes get some rest.
Coach, you know, tomorrow's game, you guys have won 4 national championships since 2008. Stevens Point's in its 3rd straight. You're a Stevens Point alum. You were there for the first national championship. It's kind of becoming a song and dance that you guys are kind of faced with. It's been 2 years since Lewiston when this happened. What are your thoughts on, you know, just another matchup with the Pointers on this stage?
Well, what I would say about Stevens Point is, and we saw them earlier this year, I think Coach Brooks has done a phenomenal job getting that program back into the conversation of relevance at the national level. He just has. He hasn't been there that long. And for them to appear in 3 Frozen Fours in a row and now 3 national championship games in a row says a lot. That's a very deep group up front. Their forwards that's the best group of forwards in the nation, I suspect. I just do. They seemingly can play a lot of different types of games, and they're getting good goaltending from a freshman. So, you know, what I would say about Point is we saw them early in the year. We jumped them hard at their place. Actually, we were up 4-rip after 2 periods. But the Point team that we saw in November and the Point team that you saw tonight, they're almost not even able to be looking alike. They're just not. I mean, they're a very confident group. And we know firsthand, having had experience and won 3 national championships in a 4-year run, we know what it's like when you have guys back the next year and you're back in the saddle. And I know they're obviously disappointed with the way things shook out for them last year, but Trinity had their run. And this year they just look like they are completely on a mission. Start right from going into Adrian. Again, Adrian, very good hockey team. And they're sitting at home right now. So, because of Stevens Point's play. So, we'll have our hands full, there's no doubt. But, you know, being here late, double overtime, all the rest, the whole you're a Point alum thing doesn't really play into it because it's been so many years and it's been so much water under the bridge, so to speak. So, it's just, we know who they are and they know who we are. And usually that breeds either complacency or contempt. I suspect we see the latter tomorrow.
Time for 1 more question. Okay. Coach, we will see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Congratulations on a big win.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you to your student athletes. Have a good night.